Oh, we're live. Welcome back to the Savant Life, YouTube. What is up? Yes, finally, I have done the Q&A that was pending for such a long time. I know that I asked you guys to submit the questions almost a month back, if not more, and it took me all of this time to make this Q&A. Well, when you actually watch it and hopefully realize how much of work and time it actually took in order to collate all of the questions, have the right kind of answers, put them into the right kind of categories to make it easy for your viewing, hopefully you'll realize why I took such a long time. Plus, like I always keep saying, I'm super busy with work, and that is the reason why I have very little time in order to kind of do these kind of things. Okay, but enough of that. Let's jump right into it because this is going to be a fairly long one. So I suggest you sit back, make yourself comfortable, grab some popcorn, soda, chips, whatever you want to do, and let's get started with it. So what I've done is that I have taken all of the questions and broken them down into 4 different sections. The first one is called Savant Life, all of the personal questions that you guys asked me that I can answer. The second one is this section, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this section is dedicated entirely to all of the questions about my English and the accent. The third one is about the ABC of motovlogging, so I'll answer all of the questions about my setup, how I make my videos, the tools that I use, and so on and so forth. And the fourth section, the biggest one, the meatiest one, is going to be about bikes. And if this Q&A gets a little too long, what I'll do is I will make a separate video about the biking part of the questions, which will kind of be like a sequel to this Q&A video. So that will be a part 2, but we'll decide based on how this goes and if this gets a little too long. So based on which question you asked, you would probably know which section to look for, but ideally I would say that it's not every day that you get a Q&A from the Savant Life, so watch this in its entirety. So the first section, the Savant Life, about the man behind the camera, about the man in front of the camera, about the man who basically runs this entire channel. And I'm flattered by the number of questions that I received, and what I've done is, to save some time, I've clubbed some of the questions together because they were common. A lot of people asked me about what my profession is, what do I do for a living, because some people were mistakenly under the assumption that I might be an RJ or something, but that is not the case, and I will answer that question, which was asked by Sadaf Khan, Nufal PA, Justin John, Mirza Zahir, and Rakshit Bekal. So the one common question that all of these guys had is about my profession, and I can tell you that I work in the IT industry. I've been working in this industry for quite some time, and I'm not a techie. I work on the business side of things, and I quite enjoy my job. It's a very hectic job, and it's as bang on in the middle of the corporate world as it could be. Contrary to what you might think based upon my appearance, when I get into my office, I'm 100% buttoned up, tie wearing, corporate, consummate professional that I can be. So that is what I can tell you. I won't exactly get into the details of which company I work for and things of that kind, but to give you a broad perspective of what my career is, it is definitely in the IT industry, and I've been doing this for quite some time. Next up, Praful asks, good going bro, great videos. Question 1, what's your age? And question number 2, what is your education? Well, I'll skip the age question for now. Maybe I'll take it up further down the road sometime in the future. But as far as my education is concerned, I am an MBA with a specialization in marketing. In the same vein, Rakshit Bekal asks, what do you do for a living? Which I already answered. Where are you from? I'm from right here in Bangalore, which is also now known as Nama Bengaluru. Did you want to film anything other than motovlogging, like some other video projects? So in fact, if you go back and look at the first video that I ever put up on this channel, that is not a video about motorbikes at all. In fact, I had gone to Australia and New Zealand, and I had a humble Redmi 1S phone lying around, and with that I'd shot a bunch of clips and edited it together in the form of a vacation video. That's the first video that I ever put up on YouTube. Of course, it didn't really set anything on fire because nobody wants to watch those kind of videos. However, if you're interested, I will leave a link to that description and probably also have it on the screen over here so that you can check it out. Alright, the next question is from Sketching India and Dikshit Thakuria, and both of them are wondering if I have a girlfriend. And I can tell you that as of right now, when the video is being shot, which is May of 2017, at the moment I don't have a girlfriend, but you know how these things go. Things are subject to change, and if they do, I will probably let you know. But as of right now, Tinder Zindabad. Alright, the next question is again from Sadaf Khan, and he asks me if I'm planning to become a full-time YouTuber. And a lot of people have these kind of misconceptions wherein they think that people can truly do YouTube full-time and still maintain a decent quality of life. I think that's probably true of maybe 1% of the YouTubers. The rest of us have full-time jobs, and I don't think that is going to change anytime soon. However, that question actually leads me to something else which I think is very important for me to talk about. So, how can you support your favorite YouTuber? A lot of people want to, but they don't really know how. So let me break it down for you guys. A lot of people mistakenly think that YouTube pays the creators for views. They don't pay anybody anything for views, no matter how big you are. You get paid only on the basis of the engagement that your audience has with your content and the advertisements being displayed on it. So 3 things that you can do in order to help out your favorite YouTuber. It doesn't have to be me. Anyone that you think you love their content and you want to support them in some way, do 3 things. Thing number 1, if there is an ad, a video ad playing before the video starts, then watch that ad for at least 31 seconds, because it's only then that the creator gets paid. So watch the ad for 31 seconds before skipping it. The second thing that you can do is you'll probably see some banner ad while the creator's video is playing on the bottom. So you can click that banner ad, and that is when the YouTuber also gets paid. And if you're not watching the video on full screen mode, you will notice on the suggested videos just above that, there would also be some kind of an advertisement. So click on that as well in order to support your favorite YouTuber. The other way is that a lot of YouTubers have their own Amazon or Flipkart affiliate links. I have mine as well, which I normally include in the description of all of my videos. So if you guys happen to shop on these sites quite a bit, then go ahead and use those links. And whenever you do some shopping, it doesn't cost you anything extra, and the YouTuber gets some commission on the site, which definitely helps. Okay, next question. Anthony Goli asks, bro, on which drugs are you, bro? Huh? Bro, ye mal kidhar se lata hai, bro? So, to Mr. Anthony Goli and everybody else, the fact of the matter is that I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I'm completely high on the wonderful opportunities that life has to offer us. You know, everything that you can do from a creative standpoint, from an ambition standpoint, from just going out there and making things happen. Now, at the same time, I don't say that that is the approach that every one of you should take as well. If you get some kind of a kick out of doing drugs or drinking or smoking, whatever your poison might be, go ahead and do it, but do it in moderation, because life is too precious to get addicted to some kind of a substance and then become a slave to it. So that would be my only piece of advice, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm completely clean. Okay, the next question is from Roger Fed. Hey Roger Fed, what's up? His question, and a lot of other people have also been asking, what is your Instagram? And even though I've answered this before, this question keeps coming up. So my Instagram is at TheSavantLife. You can go follow me over there. I don't usually post a lot of stuff about motorcycles, but I post some cool pics from my travels and from my interest in fashion. So if that is something that tickles your fancy, then go and check me out on Instagram. Royal Eurobiker says, I think you must be from Assam, West Bengal or Orissa, working in IT or BPO in Bangalore. And you make MotoVlogs during your free time. Well, so like I said, I'm not from West Bengal or Orissa or any of those places. I'm from right here in Bangalore. Kannadiga hudga kanana no. Kannadiga hudga. Kannadiga. Jai Karnataka. And I don't work in a BPO. Contrary to what I might look like, I actually work in the IT industry in a fairly corporate position, like I told you before. So that is for your assumption. Royal Eurobiker, pretty much wrong on all of those counts. Okay, the next one is from Raghunandan Pai, and he's someone that I definitely recognize. He's one of my early subscribers, and he's commented on a lot of my videos, so I definitely know who he is. And he says, congratulations, I subscribed to you when you had about 50 to 100 subs. I just wanted to know why the channel is called The Savant Life. You seem like a traveler sage. Well, I like the description of a traveler sage, and I think I have a little bit of a nomad, a wayfarer in me, so I will take that any given day of the week. And as far as why the channel is called The Savant Life, that question is also asked by Vinay Kumar, who actually says, why the name Savant Life? It sounds like a spiritual yoga center. Well, funny as that might be, The Savant Life because you know, I think I'm obviously not a savant in the technical sense of the word, but I do have an affinity towards a lot of things. I have a flair for languages. I can speak English, Hindi, Kannada, Urdu very, very fluently. I am a very typical corporate employee, but at the same time I don't look like one. I have a wild side in me. I write poetry. I have a flair for photography. I do MotoVlogs. So I do a lot of things, and I do them fairly well, if I am to say that without sounding immodest. So I think that is a very savant-like trait. But at the same time, I struggle with some very basic day-to-day social requirements that I think pretty much everyone just adheres to. And it's not that I can't do it, but I find it very strange. So one of my pet peeves is to be stuck in an elevator with someone that I barely know and having to make that uncomfortable small talk. और सर कैसे हैं आप? अच्छा अच्छा सब बढ़िया जी जी। अरे घर पे कैसे हैं सब लोग? हाँ आपका वीकेंड कैसा था सर? अच्छा अच्छा। अरे सर बस आपकी कृपा है सर। हाँ सर। You know, I hate that shit. It makes me cringe. I hate being stuck at some relative's wedding and having to say hi, hello to all of the chachas and the poopas and the poopies who I barely meet, and I barely know. And I am not very good at uncle, auntie kaise hain? Arey, हाँ pinky को hi बोलिएगा मेरे से. You know, all of that, which is just basic day-to-day requirements of societal interaction. I'm not so great at it, and I think that is the reason why I identify with the savant syndrome as such, because it is very prevalent among them. Because this channel was not about one particular thing, at least when I imagined it. It was just about me showcasing everything that is going on in my life. I decided to call the channel The Savant Life. I hope that answers the question. And the final question in this category comes from Kaushik DN, who asks, what inspired me to start my YouTube channel? And he also wants to know a little bit about my family. So, well, I don't know how much I can tell you about my family, but I'll share something with you. I am a single child. I don't have any siblings, no brothers, no sisters. I have a couple of cousins who I'm sort of close to, but I used to really miss having a sibling, especially when I was younger, because during summer vacations, when all of the friends went away to their respective towns and cities for vacation, I would kind of feel a little left out because I didn't really have anyone to keep me company. But I think as I grew up, I got used to that, and when you have an active imagination, you don't really miss out in the company of other people too much. And now I'm completely, I think, comfortable in my own skin in that aspect, and I can't really imagine my life now with a sibling or constantly being around someone who is a brother or a sister. So that's a little something about my family. And as far as what inspired me to start a YouTube channel, so you know, there's sort of a funny story behind that. In 2015, I was featured in one of these street interview type of videos about a fairly controversial topic, let's just say. And I'm not going to tell you what that topic was, but let me just play you a short clip from that video. Well, I don't know if it should be legalized as such, because I think typically we're in the habit of mimicking everything that happens in the West, right? So for it to happen over here, I think Obama would have to do it first, and then Modi is going to wake up and go, yeah, maybe that sounds like a good idea as well. So I somehow got a tremendous response for that video. A lot of people were saying great things in the comment section about the kind of points that I was making, about the way I spoke, about the way I looked, all of that. And I was truly blown away by the interactive nature of YouTube and how quickly you could get feedback. And I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be great if I had my own channel wherein I could reach out to people and communicate some of the things that I want to talk about. But I didn't really necessarily have any idea around which I wanted to base the channel. So I kind of just let it be. And then, like I mentioned before, I traveled to Australia and New Zealand. I made a quick little holiday video about it and put it up, but nothing major happened. And then my cousin was getting his first ever bike, a Duke 200, and I decided to follow him and make a video about his experience of getting his first bike. And I did it mainly to provide him with some good memories and nothing else. But I chopped the video together and put it up on YouTube, and that got a tremendous response. In fact, that was my second video, and I think that got about 35,000 views. And I said, this is it. That's when I discovered MotoVlogging. That's when I realized there's a platform available to do something of this kind. And that, I think, was my inspiration to get started with MotoVlogging. Okay, so this section is about my English and my accent. Now, I find this very hard to believe that this particular topic has become so contentious Some people think that my accent is fake. Most people like it and compliment me about it. And for those few who think it's fake, let me just assure you at this moment, if it was fake, I wouldn't be able to speak with this kind of fluidity, but I'm not really going to justify it any further. Now, for all those few who wrote in asking questions and complimenting me, firstly, thank you. Let me just quickly read a few quick ones. Atin Randhawa says, can you teach me how to speak like you did? Ashik Rajiv says, I really liked your presentation and vocabulary, keep it up. Yash Oja says, your flow of English, man, superb. Dhaval Rathod is asking, how's your English so smooth? And basically a bunch of comments which are very, very similar. Deepak Panda says, bro, fantastic communication skills. Help us by posting some videos to improve our communication skills like yours. Well, I don't know if I'll be posting a exclusively dedicated video around this topic because I don't think there is enough of a market for that. But I plan to make a funny sort of a video about, about Indian English as such, which also intends to be helpful in terms of correcting certain pronunciation flaws that we have. But I don't want people to think that it's derogatory or I'm trying to make fun of people, because we're very good at poking fun at other people as Indians, but we get very offended when somebody does that to us. So I have to really, I think, do some thinking around how I want to present it, but that is definitely coming up in the future. But to get back to trying to answer some of those questions, like Evil Pants who says, did you go to a British prep school? That accent and your demeanor is immaculate. By the way, Evil Pants, I really like that name. But no, I did not go to a British prep school. In fact, I went to a fairly regular, normal English medium school called Sudarshan Vidya Mandir in the heart of Jayanagar in Bangalore. And that is a school that is a very typical middle class school. In fact, most of us spoke in Kannada during school hours. But I think the reason why I speak the way I speak is because I always had an interest in languages and stories. So I read a lot when I was a kid. I started reading the newspaper on a daily basis, I think, as young as when I was in the 7th standard. And I've also had a pretty good appetite for reading, which definitely helps. And as far as the accent is concerned, I think as you move around in a particular social circle, you go to a particular college, you work with a certain kind of audience, I think you pick up certain elements from all of that. So I think that's what happened, but none of it was really conscious. The next question is something that I absolutely love. It is from someone called Rackquiz3232, and they ask, how many books do you read in a month? And if you read a lot, would suggest you to make a vlog of your top 10 all-time books. And I have to say that I read a lot, but I don't read a lot in terms of quantity. There are some people who read like 2 books a month. I don't read like that. I read a lot in the sense that I immerse myself in a book and I get really in depth as far as the story, the message, the philosophy is concerned. I make notes all the time. If there is a great quote, I will write it down on my phone and keep a log of all of the great writing that I've come across. And maybe I'll make a vlog someday about my top 10 books, but I can certainly tell you my top 3. In fact, this is a book that I think every biker should read. It's Shanta Ram, and it became a cult classic. It's written by Gregory David Roberts sometime in the early 2000s. It's about Mumbai, it's about biking, it's about the underworld, it's about love, it's about failure, it's about faith. It's a great book, and if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend that you get into this book, especially if you're a biker and if you have a wanderer's soul. And also the reason why I have a bootlegged version of this is because when I bought it, I don't really think I had the kind of money to buy the official printer's edition, which obviously costs quite a bit. But many years later, when Gregory David Roberts wrote a sequel to that book, and this one is in a way even better, The Mountain Shadow, I went ahead and of course purchased the official edition, which is the reason why it looks so glorious. If you look at the cover, the volume of the book, it's about 1,000 pages, and it'll take you a long time to read. So the pace at which I read, I take easily about at least 4 or 5 months to get through a book like this, because I think only then are you truly immersing yourself into it and getting everything that has been so painstakingly put on paper. And for that, I think you really, really need to build a relationship with the book. Another book that I really like is from Rana Das Gupta, and this is again an Indian writer. This one's called The Capital, and this book is all about Delhi. It's about the history of the city, what happened, the different cultures. It's a look into the fascinating lives of everyday characters, and it's an outsider's take because Rana Das Gupta was actually born in the UK and then came to Delhi to marry the love of his life and settle down over here. So again, highly recommended from yours truly if you like reading, and if you like I think accounts of cities through various periods of time, then this is a book that you'll certainly appreciate. Another one of my favorite authors is John Irving, and I read a lot of his stuff. Some of my favorite books of his are A Prayer for Owen Meany, The World According to Garp, The Hotel New Hampshire, and Until I Find You. And also, I've gotten into a lot of poetry these days, and Jeet Thayil is one of the finest Indian poets that we have. In fact, this is an anthology of his poems, all of his work over the last 15-20 years put together in one neat book. So this is again something that I thoroughly enjoy. So RackWiz3232, thank you for that question. I really enjoyed answering it, and I hope that gave you a little bit of a sneak peek into my literary tastes. The next question is a good one. Pankaj B4G asks, do you speak Hindi like foreigners? Pankaj, हम जो है वो हिंदी, क्योंकि हिंदी हमारी राष्ट्रभाषा है, हमारी मातृभाषा है, तो क्योंकि हम इंडिया में पला है, बड़ा है, हम हिंदुस्तानियों को बहुत पसंद करता है, तो इसलिए हम हिंदी ऐसे नहीं बात करता है. The fact of the matter is that I speak Hindi pretty well. तो हमारी जो हिंदी है वो काफ़ी शुद्ध है, हमारी जो उर्दू है वो भी काफ़ी माशाल्लाह है. तो हम सिर्फ हिंदी और उर्दू बात ही नहीं कर सकते, बट अलग अलग डायलेक्ट्स में भी बात कर सकते हैं. तो मिसाल के तौर पे जो दिल्ली वाली हिंदी होती है, जो 21 साल के लौंडे बोलते हैं, तू जानता नहीं है बे मेरा बाप कौन है, हाँ तू जानता नहीं है, चल बताता हूँ तेरा ताऊ कौन है. So I can do that, and I can also do the यूपी वाले अंकल, अरे शर्मा जी कभी आप हमारे घर पे आइए ना, पिंकी के हाथ की कचौड़ियाँ खाए बगैर मत जाइए. बड़े स्वाद कचौड़ियाँ बनाती है वो, बड़े स्वाद कचौड़ियाँ बनाती है. आप आइए भाभी को लेके, आप उंगलियाँ चाटते रह जाएंगे. राज की बात बताऊँ, पिंकी को कुछ बनाना नहीं आता. शर्मा जी जो है वो कचौड़ियाँ रामू हलवाई से मंगाते हैं. और आई कैन डू द साउथ इंडियन हिंदी ऑल्सो. मेरा नाम सुब्रमण्यम, हमको हिंदी थोड़ा थोड़ा आती है. हाँ, हम जब दिल्ली जाती तो वहाँ पे बैंगलोर के जैसा लोग हमारी भाषा में हमसे नहीं बात करती, तो हम थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी सीखा. हम भी, क्योंकि हिंदी हमारी राष्ट्रभाषा, तो हम पनीर भी खाता, तो हम थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी सीखा. हमको अपना बहुत प्राउड फील होता, क्योंकि हर जगह तमिल नहीं चलता. एन्ना पढ़ेगा, चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स विसल पढ़ेगा. I'm just kidding. And I can also do the Hyderabadi Hindi or Urdu, whatever you want to call it. Right now, Geeky Ranjit is doing a new channel wherein he says that he's talking in Hyderabadi Hindi, and that does not sound anything like Hyderabadi Hindi or Urdu. First of all, there is only Hyderabadi. अरे काई के geeky है यारो तुम? क्या उर्दू बोल रहे, क्या हैदराबादी बोल रहे? एडवांस बातें करने के वास्ते कौन बोला था तुम्हारे को? 4 साल से जितनी भी इज्जत कमाए थे पूरी बैगन में मिला के छोड़े ना उस्ताद. यार दिमाग खराब हो गया, किराक हो गया मैं. कई को शोहा कर रहे, कई को एडवांस कामा करने गए थे. अरे ऐसे भी कामा करते यारो, सुधर जाओ, समझा रहा हूँ प्यार से, वरना सीधा तुम्हारे घर पे आके तुम्हारी दिमाग की अनबॉक्सिंग करना पड़ता. देखो. So Pankaj, basically to answer your question, I don't speak Hindi like foreigners. In fact, I speak Hindi, Urdu, Tamil, Kannada, whatever I need to speak like a proper localite. What do you know? The Savant life is just full of surprises. Okay, this section is about the ABC of motovlogging. Now, I don't know how qualified I myself am to answer some of these questions because I'm not a huge motovlogger, but I shall attempt to answer some of these questions to the best of my knowledge. So the first question is from Aditya Kulkarni, who asks, who is your inspiration for motovlogging and when are you upgrading your bike? Well, inspiration, I don't think I really have anyone as such for motovlogging, but I really like Augie F's style of presentation. I like Zohair Ahmed. I think he's really come along well and established like his own unique style, which is resonating with so many people across the country, even though his style is very Hyderabad specific. So I think it just goes to show if you're natural, a lot of people will resonate with that. And outside of India, I think I like watching the videos of this guy called Snooge. I don't think too many people in India follow him, at least not as per my knowledge. There is also this guy called Renato Garcia from Brazil, and I don't understand a single word that he says because he speaks in Portuguese all the time. But when he revs his Yamaha bike and cuts through that Brazilian traffic like crazy, that is a language that is universally understood. So if you don't know who Renato Garcia is, he has more than 3 million subscribers and he makes some absolutely mental videos. I highly recommend that you check him out, but don't imitate his actions, because I'm sure it takes years and years of riding and a pair of brass balls to be able to ride like that in city traffic. The next question is from Rio Lifestyle, and he says, congratulations brother, what are the best ways for growing a YouTube channel as a motovlogger? Well, firstly, thank you. And as far as I think any advice that I can share, it's all about topic and timeliness. These are the two most important things. A lot of people make vlogs about their morning breakfast ride, or about meeting up with their friends and things of that nature. And all of that is good, but how many people are really interested in watching that? You have to realize that when you're starting off as a motovlogger, and even for people at my level or people who might even have 20,000 subscribers, the audience is mostly interested in a particular story and not you. You are just a tool for communicating that story. So pick topics which are resonating with the audience right now. Pick topics that are trending. Pick topics that people actually want to watch videos about. So that is the first tip. The second tip is to make your videos as timely as possible. You can pick a great topic, but if you make a video about it and take your time to make the best quality video that you can put together, and you release it only next week, but by the time you release your video, that great video of yours would have become average. And yet, if you release an average video about a trending topic right now, that average video automatically becomes a great video. Now, I personally am not a huge fan of this, because obviously, given a choice, I would want to focus more on quality than quantity. But this is the way the YouTube algorithm works. And if you want to play the YouTube game, if you want to make sure that your videos reach as many people as possible, then you've got to make your videos topical and timely, upload with frequency, and never give up. That's the secret, or at least that's what I think it is. So the next couple of questions are about basically my motovlogging setup, and these questions are from MotoVlogs and MotoPsych, and both of them have asked me to give a complete rundown of my motovlogging setup, my action camera, the mic that I use, the connecting cables, and so on and so forth. So what I did was I went ahead and I shot a separate video about this, because it would have been too long to include inside the Q&A video. And that video is up on my channel, and the link to it would be somewhere on your screen right now, and also in the description section. So MotoPsych and MotoVlogs, this one's for you. Okay, so the next question is from Abhilash Biradar and Dikshit Thakuria, and both of them asked me to talk a little bit about my riding gear. Now the thing is, I don't really use all that much riding gear, because I mainly ride a 150cc bike, mostly inside the city. Now I'm not saying that this is the best way to be, but this is just my way of riding a motorcycle. If you are one of those who loves to wear a Rhinox jacket or an Alpine Star jacket and ride around in the city on a 150cc bike, that's completely fine. I'm not disputing that, and I don't want any kind of hate in the comment section saying, hey bro, wear more riding gear bro, you're a squid bro. I mean, as long as you've got the basics in place, you've got a helmet and a pair of riding gloves, I think you should be fine. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to necessarily be that way. But having said that, let's go ahead and take a look at the riding gear that I have. The first of which is this helmet that I have from TIH. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with this brand, this is the same company that also makes THH helmets. And for some reason they have another brand as well, which is not very popular, and that is this one. Now, as you can see, this is a plain white. I personally think it looks really great, and I wanted something that was simple and classy, did not have too many graphics on it. And one of the reasons why I went in for this particular model is because, as you can see over here in the front, it has a nice curved chin surface compared to most other helmets right now, which have that sharp V in the front. And that makes it, I think, very difficult to put on a GoPro mount, whereas this is just perfect for it. And moreover, it's quite sturdy, it's well built, and it has a DOT certification as well. Now, I think I got lucky with this helmet, because typically most THH helmets sell for about 3.5 to 4 grand, whereas this was the last piece available in that particular shop. And I also did some hardball negotiating, wherein I pretended like I didn't really want this helmet, and I was doing this guy a favor by taking it off of his hands, and I pretty much got it for about 2,000 rupees, which I think is an absolute steal. The next thing in my riding gear are, of course, my gloves, and a lot of you have asked me about my gloves in my previous videos as well, of the KTM Duke 390 and the Suzuki Gixxer SF 2017, and these are Skoikos. I have left links to these gloves before as well, just in case you want to pick them up. I will have the Amazon and the Flipkart links in the description. I think these gloves are great for city riding, for your day-to-day commutes. They're not that expensive. You can get them for about 700 rupees, and the quality is pretty top-notch. Plus, they look really great. Not bad, huh? Now, as far as the jacket is concerned, like I said before, I don't have a typical riding jacket. I don't use a Rhinox or an Alpine Star or anything of that kind. But what I do have is this faux leather jacket from Zara that I bought in Singapore about 5 or 6 years back, and it has served me really well. I think it looks really good too. As you can see, it is spotlessly clean, and the jacket has served me very well. And to be completely honest, I'm not a tourer. I don't go on a lot of long rides. So when I'm kind of doing the occasional 150-200 kilometer trip, I think this serves me pretty well. And also when it gets a little too cold or it's a little too dusty when I'm riding, this gets the job done quite well. Alright, now moving on to the shoes. I don't have riding boots, but I have these. These are my classic brown vintage biker boots that I got from Alberto Torresi about a couple of years back. I paid, I think, close to about 3,500-4,000 rupees for this. And they look really good. They are not technically biking boots as such, but they're pretty good, again, if you're doing some, hobbyist biking, which is what I think I do. Now, I was thinking, because I have all of my riding gear around me, why not just give you guys a sneak peek of how it looks when I'm all kitted up. So let's go ahead and do just that. Pretty alright, huh? What do you think? Well, I mean, I don't usually ride around like this in Bangalore streets because I think that would be just a little too much. But hey, if you happen to spot anyone riding a black Yamaha FZ wearing one of these white helmets with long hair, then come by and say hi. Okay, now back to regularly scheduled programming. So as you can probably see, the first part actually turned out to be a little too long, and that is the reason why I think I'm going to call it time right here and break the video off at this point. I will make a separate part 2 wherein we will cover all of the questions only about bikes, so I hope you guys tune back in for that. But in the meantime, if this is your first time around at the Savant Life, then make sure that you hit the subscribe button and also click on the bell icon in order to be notified when I put out more new videos. In the meantime, I would just like to thank each and every one of you for all of your questions. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I sure as hell hope that you liked watching it as well. I will see you the next time around. Until then, take care and ride safe.